Hello, it's Kale. Welcome to Newsbreak. An Aussie sailor and his dog are back on dry land after spending 3 months stranded at sea. Here's Josh to tell you all about it.
That's the sound of something pretty monumental, because this is Aussie sailor Tim Shaddock's first time back on land after a pretty intense few months.
The health was pretty bad for a while. I was pretty hungry and I didn't think I'd make it through the storm, but now I'm really doing good.
You see, Tim here loves sailing. And a few months back, he set out from Mexico's Baja Peninsula on a trip across the Pacific, with his trusty pal Bella tagging along too.
That dog is something else, you know. I'm a bit biased, but yeah.
But just a few weeks in, their yacht got hit by some really bad weather, leaving them both stranded in the ocean and knocking out their electronics, which means there was no way to call for help or even cook food. So they survived on a diet of raw fish and rainwater for 3 months. Until last week, that is, when they were spotted by a helicopter that was working with a Mexican tuna fishing boat in the area.
And it's the first human vehicle I'd seen in months.
And in no time, the tuna crew rescued them, nursed them both back to good health on board, and started the trip back to land. Phew, that's quite a journey.
What do you say? I'm just so grateful. I'm alive and I really didn't think I'd make it, you know? So thank you so much.
Taylor Swift is continuing her ascent to world domination after smashing 2 new music records.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
It's all thanks to her latest album, Speak Now, Taylor's version, which came out a couple of weeks ago. It's actually a re-released album which debuted in 2010, with some new tracks thrown in for good measure. It's now hit #1 in the charts, which means she's got more #1 albums than any other woman in history. And she's become the first woman ever, and only the 3rd artist ever, to have 4 albums in the US top 10 all at the same time. Hundreds of young speedsters have headed to the top end to battle it out at the Australian Junior Motocross Championships. Here's Liva with all the action. Vroom, vroom.
They're fast, they're loud, and they're, what? Too young to even hold a driver's license.
Yeah, got my first bike at 3 and started at 5, so I'm 14 now, so 9 years.
I started when I was 3 years old on a PB50 and I feel like I've come a long way since then.
Yep, this is the Aussie Junior Motocross Championships in Darwin. It saw more than 230 competitors from around the world aged between 7 and 16 head to the top end's Acacia Hills track to tear it up in the mud and dirt for 5 days. The aim of the game is speed, but the thing that makes motocross, well, motocross, is the rough terrain riders have to navigate with different obstacles to really test their skills. And it doesn't come without its risks.
Back in May there, I hit my head and I'm out for the rest of the year.
Some of these speedsters use the comp as a way to get noticed by the adult motocross world, while others are just there because they love it.
It's just fun, takes my mind off stuff, and I just love it.
I've always said the view from the ground is overrated. Sometimes to really appreciate things, you have to go up in the air. Is this the Uber of the future? I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is it's the first all-electric, battery-powered vertical takeoff and landing jet. What a title. German company Lilium has been test flying their new machines, and experts reckon by 2030, flying taxis like this one could become a reality. Now, from the ground, this is just a tractor ploughing the field. Pretty boring. But get up in the air and hello! That's slightly more interesting. Artist Dario Gambarin has created this portrait of author George Orwell in a wheat field in northern Italy, marking 120 years since his birth. Wow, the wheat really captured his big blue eyes. And finally, we're heading way up in the air for this record-breaking skydive. 41 jumpers have come together to create the largest ever mid-air formation dive in the UK, while free-falling at more than 190 k's per hour. Well, that's all for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye! Oh, I can see my house. Hey, Mom! Kale, your son.